Welcome back to the SFC, the Sony phone and PC hardware channel. Do you remember a couple of years ago, for loyal readers and viewers of this channel, that I did the rise and fall of Sony Xperia 4K stabilisation? And on that I was talking about how stabilisation at 4K slowly got better with the XZ Premiums, etc. But as soon as 2019 came about, the 4K stabilisation got worse, because that's when we released the actual Sony Xperia 1 Mark 1, and they was using a Samsung lens, and as a result, Samsung sensor rather, and as a result the stabilisation got worse. Now what I want to do is actually show you how it's got better, if it's got better, with the 1 Mark 3, with 1 Mark 4, and finally the 1 Mark 5. And I'll also be running with the 1 Mark 5 to see how it's stabilized and etc. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll be experiencing all three phones and having a look on the gradual progression of the stabilization function and see what else can be improved. This is Sony Xperia 1 Mark 3. Remember the one that came out in 2021? And we're just testing for stabilisation and excuse me, and image quality. Same settings as usual. And this is with SDR 30 frames a second, 4K. You get the idea. Stabilisation's on. And it only has one level of stabilisation, remember? That's pretty nice. Okay. There's always a bloody car when you're trying to work, isn't there? There we go. Oh. Oh. Okay, we're back up to these flowers again. Check focus distance. Not very good on 1.3. Not good at all. Okay, better on the tray on this one. That's about 20 centimeters. It's the closest that lens can focus on. Remember, this is a 24mm lens. Thank you. Again, let's have a look. Very hot today. And thank you for your time. This is Sony Xperia 1 Mark 4 HDR off standard color gamut, and it's got the 30 frames a second, 4K normal stabilization, which is either on or off. Okay, so let's go and see what we can see. Right, I'm holding the phone one-handed again. This is the 1 Mark 4, and I must say it's not doing a bad job on rendering the sky. If we turn around and test for roll and shutter, to say this is on auto, it's not doing too bad. So much for the bad HDR rendering. So if we've got a bright sky, now I've noticed the trees are a little dull compared to the sky, but see what happens on the next one when we do the HDR. Okay, so we'll pop up some stairs and see how the HDR handles. So the stabilization even. Ha. Okay, so we're walking that. Okay, let's test for the next thing. It's all right, got my hand in the way there. Let's test for shutter rolling. Okay, we'll turn around and we go back. Now we'll try this from the side view. Sort of I'm breathing a little bit hard, but I'm new to Malta and I'm getting used to the heat. Again, I'm holding this one-handed. Okay, that's the end of the test on HDR, non-HDR. Let's move to HDR on the next one. Thank you. Okay, we're doing some vlogging now on the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V, and we're on hyperlog in HDR, and it's not doing too bad, I suppose. But there you go. Let's test the stabilisation. So let's cross this road and go into the park, see what's happening. So everything seems okay so far. Hang on, I think I've got the wire in front of the camera there. There we go. Okay, so we're going through the park now, and we want to see how HDR dynamic rendering is sort of like, you know, how it goes on the park, because there's lots of shadows on here. So let's have a look. I've got my arm half outstretched now, and we're on very rough ground at the moment. There we go. HDR looks quite good, as you can see. I can already see that it's focusing on this eye. So let's go up to this tree here. It's got lots of shadows on it. What do you think? Right, okay. So let's try to test that again with S-Cinetone. Okay, so I'm now on S-Cinetone for mobile. That's one that's meant to show the skin of people a bit more. I can already tell there's a slight difference in the sky, but let's go through the same park again. While we're at it, we'll test out the stabilisation. Again, we'll go on the same path. Is it me, or does the sky look less blue? And as you can see, it does have some the shadows aren't quite as good. How to deal with it isn't quite as good on S-Cinetone, but then again, it's the wrong conditions for that anyway. Can you see the big difference there? So let's go again into this tree with all the shadows and all the interesting stuff. What do you think? Okay, so let's test this with the same thing now with SDR. Okay, we're on SDR now, and as you can see, same settings. It's not actually rendering the sky quite well. It's actually rendering the sky quite well actually. So let's go on the same path again. Let you judge. Remember, this is SDR here. Now, in the old Sony Xperias, this would have been bouncing like crazy, and the sky would have been almost white. But remember, this is on SDR. Oh, we can tell it there. We can really tell it there. Can you see that? The wall is having trouble rendering for a while until it also adjusts to light. But can you see that? Sky looks much whiter there, and the wall does as well. Even allowing for auto adjust. So let's have a look at this tree, shall we? Having said that, I like the look of that tree. Okay, let's do a running test. Right, we're about to do a running test. This is done on high quality stabilisation, 4K, 30 frames a second, and it's in HDR. Okay, HDR, IE, hyperlocking. Let's have a look. Short run, what do you think? Right, we've got a conclusion. Well, first of all, before we get into that, there's one thing I need. If you notice it in all videos, when it's sunshine out here in Malta, that's I need an ND filter, and that's due to arrive very soon. So what happens is, now that we've once get an ND filter, we'll do some more recording and see how it all sorts out. Now, let's move on to the conclusion, shall we? Now, the conclusion of this is that we can see that the 1 Mark III, the Mark IV and the Mark V, especially the Mark V, has drastically improved. With the 3, it seemed to be focusing on one spot, and all other focus away from the centre seemed to be soft. The Mark IV, massive difference. We can see it focusing everywhere, all equally, but HDR was getting there. But again, we needed an ND filter to get its full potential. On the 1 Mark V, I can confidently say that the resurrection of Sony Xperia 4K stabilisation has just been brought about. I ran with it, amazing stabilisation for 20 yards until it stopped. The HDR was better when HDR was enabled. Even when non-HDR was enabled, it looked good. It seems to have a nice natural bokeh about it as well. So anything in the background, when it was nicely focused out. I think that's because essentially I would have had face and eye. So basically it was totally focused on the face and the eye and not focused on the background. So it gave it a nice bokeh effect. So if I changed the focusing to non-AF, etc., and IF, eye focusing, it would have got everything in the background in focus as well. But I didn't select that option because I wanted that more natural look. And I wanted you to see my face, because then when I'm running with it, you can see the stabilisation. Image details has been ironed out with the 1 Mark V. I like the new Cinetone look as well. Exposes for skin colour, but all background seems to have less of sort of a range of colour. So I'm quite impressed with it altogether. So the conclusion I can come out with is this, as well as I needing an ND filter, is that the Sony Xperia 1 stabilisation at 4K, the resurrection, has just been brought about. Right, I'd love to see you again, and let's have a look at another review in the next few weeks. Okay, I'll see you soon. Take care.